You've survived another week. Thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the Bluesition, Life, Faith, and Music. I'm your host, Reverend Ken Blanchard, and this week I got two different points I want to share with you. The first one goes back to the past when I dreamed of being a radio personality. Yeah. And then the second part is how I met the blues. Talking about the legendary Buddy Guy. Yeah, I dreamed of being a radio personality, someone who would tell stories over the air and introduce new ideas to my listeners. I used to voice act as a child, and I always requested the latest recording devices at Christmas time. I had a reel-to-reel back in the day and then a cassette recorder as a kid. I didn't even know voice acting and narration was a possible career. I would have loved it. I found podcasting in 2007 after being interviewed by a friend I had met on my gun rights activism days. I had unsuccessfully found work at a local radio station as I was looking during the time that local DJs were transitioning to that syndicated national celebrity voice stuff they have now. And local radio as we knew it was going away. My timing isn't always on point. The Urban Shooter Podcast. Remember that? Were you around back then? Well, if you were, drop a note in the show notes. Send me an email. Let me know that you're still here. Tell me the story. Tell me what you liked best about the Urban Shooter. See, that podcast allowed me to interview the many personalities I had met and that were continue to meet actually in my gun rights journey. In the end, I interviewed 200 people. It morphed into a variety show where I tried and experimented with different things on the show. It went pretty silly sometimes, but you stuck it out. And if you weren't in that first group, it's okay. I'll catch you up on this one. I narrated and voice acted Zombie Strike. I created and co-wrote an audio drama back before they had them, actually. I did all the parts. Some of them were good, some of them suck real bad, but I had a good time. I had up-and-coming and going comedians on the podcast. I had fellow activists that couldn't get a break in mainstream media and a few big names folks on my show. I got sponsored early. It was a blessing by the founder of Crossbreed Holsters and the USCCA before it became the successful organization it is now. You know, I failed at about 100 things and projects over those terms. I had the best community, though. You guys were a part of my personal growth. And some of y'all have become lifelong friends. You know who you are. You know, podcasting got me into 4 documentaries. It allowed me to be in the life of 10 hurting brothers considering suicide and gave me a chance to befriend them. The podcast took me in a different direction than I had planned. I became the pastor of Patriots, Pistoleros, and Paladins. It birthed an online ministry that's still going. It's called Faith Journey now. Funny thing, though, it feels like a failed relationship. Not that podcast, but my gun stuff. Defending the Second Amendment was tough work. You see, I was early in the movement, and folks don't even realize where we were back then. You know, concealed carry wasn't like it is today. We fought tooth and nail to get where it is. All before social media would give you proof. You weren't there when Al Sharpton tried to castrate me on air, basically, verbally. You missed it when we traveled across the country to be turned away at state houses. And TV talk shows can't miss that either. Ooh, you missed it when the anti-rights crew stacked the deck on camera with the tears of mothers that had lost their sons to the drug trade, but they flipped it when it's really not a gun victim narrative. Man, that stuff wore on me. You know, I won most of my battles on the one-on-ones. I convinced a boatload of fence sitters, but it left me battered and tired. Never really got compensated for it, except for the love from people who listen to my show, the folks who follow me online, and a few sponsors. I never got the views on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. And believe it or not, I'm not bitter about it. I sacrificed my career in the government So I left a lower grade to do better for my family as a contractor. But I ain't bitter. Looking back, it's kind of amazing, actually. But satisfaction won't bring me back. Now, I got time. I could probably start all over again, use all the social media everybody else is using, but now I don't look so good. I'm old. I got a 1-pack. I can't bring sexy back. That joker is gone. But it's okay. I'm happy for you, though. You can get a concealed carry permit now in almost every state I lobbied. Oh, yeah, in every state, not almost every state. And I'm a little salty about what happened to the NRA. Kind of undermined the organization, but it was inevitable. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. People gonna do what people do. The reminder of my sacrifice, though, makes it hard for me to enjoy just going to the range now, recreational shooting now, or even wanting to teach. I was so good at it, too. But that life is like a girlfriend that did me wrong. Weird, ain't it? Someone who finally gets it after 40 years of advocacy will call and say, "Hey, man, you still teaching? I want to get my permit." And I feel like they're asking to borrow $10,000. Where were you 20 years ago, preacher? Weren't you one of the ones that made fun of me? One of the ones that signified that I shouldn't be preaching? One of the ones in the collective that shut me out? Nah, I ain't bitter. But Black Man with a Gun, still trademarked. I renewed it a few years ago, but this time when it runs out, probably in 5 more years, I'll let it go. Maybe somebody else will pick it up. Tried to pass the mantle on, actually, but nobody wanted it. And it's okay. I understand. If you ain't got nothing else to do, go to bluesician.com and take a look at my page. I created it, and let me know what you think. Bluesician is kind of a made-up word. Blues and musician together. BLUSICIAN. All right, that's one of the first songs that I remember from Buddy Guy. The first time I met the blues. Somewhere between checking off life's boxes, good job, car, house, fiance, I found myself on a new kind of journey, one without a map. The blues had been there all along, tucked beneath layers of pop hooks, R&B grooves, and dance floor anthems. I had dismissed it before as something old, maybe even primitive, but now it called to me. I wanted to learn guitar, and I thought, arrogantly, the blues should be the easiest place to start. Here's the thing. I didn't know that the blues doesn't let you start. It meets you, sizes you up, and then takes hold, if you're lucky. That's how I ended up at Blues Alley in Washington, D.C., with 2 women I loved, my mother and my bride-to-be. I'd bought tickets to see Buddy Guy, a name I barely knew, but enough to make me think I was doing something meaningful. We arrived early and claimed seats right in front of the stage. The kind of close that makes you a part of the show, whether you're ready or not. As people filtered in and my beer buzz settled in, nature called. I excused myself and made my way upstairs. That's where the restroom was. And that's when I heard the voice. Behind a curtain, acting as a makeshift door, was a man holding court with a sifter of cognac, a worn smile, and eyes that looked like they've seen every kind of joy and sorrow and remembered all of it. It was Buddy Guy. He was in mid-conversation with a couple of young journalists who looked more like students than reporters. His voice was easy, reflective. The way a man speaks when he's earned the right to slow down but chooses not to. He talked about how the road to recognition was long and how he'd remain unknown to many of his own in his community. I bet there ain't more than a handful of faces that look like mine downstairs, he said, eyes fixed somewhere past the curtain. But I'm not about to let the blues die. Our eyes met. You here for the show, young blood? Yes, sir, I said. Well, all right, he said. And in that instant, I wasn't just attending a concert. I was being invited into something, into history, into meaning. He cussed. He laughed. He riffed on how Ebony Magazine had never interviewed him, even though they were right there in Chicago. He told stories I didn't know enough about to fully appreciate at the time. But I knew one thing. I didn't want this moment to end. Then someone brushed past me with a sense of urgency. "It's time to start, Mr. Guy." And Buddy stood, polished off his drink, and smiled. "Let me go to work." I nearly tripped racing down the stairs, grinning like I just touched a legend. When I slid back into my seat, my fiancée hit me with a scowl I've come to recognize over the next 30 years. "Where have you been?" "Talking to Buddy," I said, proud. She nodded slowly. "I like that dude." The lights dimmed. A howl of guitar filled the room like a flood breaking loose. And just like that, Buddy Guy descended the stairs, playing his way through the crowd, landing center stage right in front of us. My mother was glowing in the spill of the spotlight, and for once, we all felt like part of something sacred. Buddy addressed the crowd after his big riff. "Sorry for the delay, ladies and gentlemen, but I just had the best conversation with a young blood upstairs that got me feeling pretty good." Then he played this, and I thought, same.
The first time I met the blues, people, you know, I was walking down through the woods. Yeah, the first time I met the blues, you know, I was walking down through the woods. Yeah, not my house was blue. Blues, you know, you done me all the harm that you could. The blues got after.
The night changed something in me. I started learning guitar, but more than that, I began tracing the roots of the music. The blues wasn't old and simple. It was ancient and profound. It was the birthplace of American music. It was Jimmy. It was Clapton. It was Stevie Ray Vaughan. It was the cry, the fight, the swagger. It was everything I thought I understood and nothing I actually did. And it all started when the blues first met me. Let's flash forward a couple of decades. I was now married, raising 2 kids, and surrounded by all the trappings of grown-up life. I've owned several guitars by then, Fenders, Epiphones, even a Les Paul clone. But they were more like furniture than instruments. They leaned in corners, they collected dust, they moved with me from place to place like promises I hadn't yet found the courage to keep. I still wanted to play the blues, desperately actually, but after falling in love with Stevie Ray Vaughan and never getting the chance to meet him, I began to feel unworthy. The more I heard of other blues people and heard their music, I thought, I will never get to that level. I shouldn't even start. I had seen B.B. King live. I had dug deep into music history, tracing blues roots through the Great Migration, through black pain and perseverance, through every genre it had quietly mothered. The more I learned, the more reverence I had. And with that reverence came doubt. I didn't think I could do it justice. So I didn't. On local radio, a DJ passed away, and there was an opening for a host for blues on Saturday mornings. And I was fired up for a minute until I realized that on that public station it was voluntary, wasn't going to pay anything, and I thought, no, I can't do that. One summer night at Wolf Trap, my friend Lewis and I had front row seats. Buddy was playing again, just like he often did near his birthday here in Virginia. And this time, the crowd was massive. The air was thick with nostalgia and reference. But Buddy was right. Once again, I scanned the sea of faces and saw only a scattering of people who looked like me, probably less than 3%. And yet here we were, front row seats. And then it happened. Between songs, as Buddy bantered with the audience, I stood up and shouted from the front row, "Happy birthday, bro!" He stopped mid-sentence. His eyes searched and landed on mine, wide, lit up, starstruck. He broke in that same devilish grin I remember from Blues Alley, the one that made you feel like kin. "What do you know about that?" he asked, stepping closer to the stage like we were the only two in the place. Standing tall, I said everything I could in the next 30 frantic seconds that I'd been following him for years, that I knew it was his birthday, that I loved him and appreciated all he had given to the world. My voice cracked, but I didn't care. He saw me. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a guitar pick that was autographed, and handed it to me like a blessing. Then, without missing a beat, he turned and went back to work, bending strings and digging in the sound like he was summoning spirits. I can't tell you what that moment felt like to me, but I can tell you this: it was the kind of grace that calls a man forward. I started playing soon after, a little better, a little more determined. Now, if we flash forward to 2025, I'm sitting in the theater watching a vampire movie, and guess who makes a cameo appearance? Yeah, I almost screamed. I probably did, I just don't remember. My friend and brother, my guitar hero, had made it to the big screen. I think he's about 88 years old when that thing was filmed. Just had a birthday recently, because this again is the time that he comes to Wolf Trap in Virginia. Happy birthday, my brother, and thank you for bringing me the blues.
The blues got after me. If you know they ride me from tree to tree. Yeah, blues got after me. Blues, you know you ride me from tree to tree. Yeah, you should have heard me begging blues. Ah, blues don't bother me. Yeah, good morning, blues. Blues, I wonder what you're doing here so soon. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Blue. Blues, I keep wondering what you're doing here so soon. Yeah, you know you'll be with me every morning, Blue. Every night and every noon. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to Bluesician. If you like what you heard, please tell somebody. If you heard this episode, send me a note, smoke signal, spitball, something. Let me know that you're around. It's hard to know whether I'm talking to the air or my friend. So just in case nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Till next week, shalom, baby.